It says it's loading. Are you ready to be online? Yeah? Okay. You're gonna have to say hi in a minute if you want. No? Okay. Can I talk to you for a second? Yeah? You want to look at the screen? Oh, look, we're live. See us on the screen? Okay. All right, Isla, I think we are live. Happy Monday afternoon. I am here with 6-year-old Isla. Do you want to say hi? Okay. Um, Isla and I are both extroverts, so we both do better working with some background noise. So she is very busy working on Roblox, playing Dress to Impress, and I'm going to be very busy working on Excel, playing the budget versus actual game, which I started, I think it was 10 days ago. I did a live stream, graphing different options for budget versus actual by category and over time. We're going to be looking at pretend numbers, but I do have to figure this out for an upcoming client deadline. So like within the next couple weeks, I do need to like have this solved in my brain. So this is like take two at figuring out all the different options. And I have about this much mental energy left. So I don't know if I'm going to come up with anything good. We'll see. But that's why Isla's here and that's why you're here to hold me accountable so I don't just get off track or get unproductive on this Monday afternoon. All right, Isla, let's share our screen and let's see what I worked on so far. And I gotta close out the real version of this because I don't want to accidentally share any real numbers and go to NDA jail. Okay, here is what we worked on so far. Oh, Isla, can I show you something? Yeah? Wait, you have to look up here. Or are you playing? You're busy. You're in the middle of the game. Do you want to see it for a second or not really? Yeah? Okay. This is, these are pretend numbers. You see all the numbers all over? Okay, so see how this is just like so many numbers all over, all over, all over. And that is not, it's not great to look at. Actually, here's the before version. It looks like just like a really boring black and white table looking at year one budget and actuals, year two budget and actuals. And then these are like pretend categories for the budget. And then what did I try making so far 10 days ago? I tried making a better table, and I don't think I finished this one. I wouldn't call this done. I played around with like little spark lines. I played around with these little charts. Do you see the red and the blue here? Yeah, I don't love this. This just still looks like really, really busy. So then I also played around with graphs for a report, and it looks like I made this one sliceable. That doesn't look right. That looks way too tall. That doesn't look right at all. Maybe like that. Maybe like that works better. Okay. So where should I start working today? I don't know. I have a bunch of these kind of like half-made ideas. I think I'm gonna just think through these and think through the pros and cons and maybe take some more notes for myself and then see what else I can figure out. This is promising though. This was probably my favorite so far. All right. Wish me luck. You can see my brain's not working today. That's okay. That's real life behind the scenes. Hmm. Mhm. Mm. Okay. Okay, here is a better table, which is something that I was aiming for with the budget versus actual. Um, Goals are this needs to fit on a page or two. It needs to be PDFable for some of the groups that I have in mind that I need to do this for real life. It can't like be a just like a lengthy Word document. It can't be slides. It needs to be a PDF, typically made in Excel and then saved as a PDF is the workflow that a lot of groups I work with prefer. What I don't love about this is that the budgeted like year one and the actual year one are here. Like, I just don't know if this grouping makes sense. I don't know if it makes sense to have all the budgeted numbers and the actual numbers top and bottom. I feel like the columns, like this, I feel like the columns should be next to each other. It just gets so wide then because a lot of real life projects I work on, they do last, 3, 5, 10 years. So that can just be so many columns side by side. Okay, so right now this layout is like this. Other option, like I was just trying to describe, is this. Another option is top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom. Um, this is the most important thing though, is just looking at like the total, like by the end of, let's say, a 5-year project, this is most important. So maybe this just needs to come first. And then this is like just in case information on the last page. Like this is the star of the show, and this is the appendix level information. I don't know. I think this is like good enough for now. Just a simple table for a very internal technical audience who's going to want to see all the details. Yeah. Probably I will just leave this alone. Okay, let's try making some actual graphs though. So what did I try so far? Okay, we saw this before. Let's try a bunch of afters, like real graphs. Okay, what did I try first? Small multiples line graphs, where I had budgeted an actual, and I would have done something like this, spaghetti line, yuck. Um, oh yeah, small multiples. Good job, past Anne from 10 days ago taking notes. Not in love with this one. The values in the real life version of this data set were very similar, therefore making the lines too close. Yeah. Um, Maybe I would graph it by percentage over. Maybe it should be by percent difference. Let me try that. Let's just see what it looks like. These are obviously made up numbers, but okay. Got to take lots of notes to keep myself organized so that when I look at this in 10 more days and keep working, that I'm not like totally lost. Okay. Yeah. Graph percent differences and see what that looks like. Okay. Um, how does my table need to be set up? Let's grab this table. Actually, do I care about overall? Yeah. Let me add overall in. I think that's actually really helpful. Okay, so this is the table, year one budget, year one actuals. I have to calculate the differences. Um, mhm. Do you hear Otto downstairs? I think he's saying, "Mommy, mommy." Okay. Post minus pre divided by pre. Is that true? That's about 12% under? Yeah, 12 point something, 12.3. Okay, perfect. Sometimes I get my numerators and denominators wrong, so that works. Can I copy paste or drag? No. How could I make a good draggable formula? My brain is too tired to figure out formula quick things and graphing ideas all at once. Okay, is this right? Post minus pre divided by pre. Post minus pre, post minus pre year four, post minus pre year five. Okay, and now I'm going to, let me turn my grid lines back on. I can't see a thing. Okay, now I'm going to delete these columns because for some reason this felt easier for my brain um, than fixing the formula references. Okay, this should still be correct. Let's just check. Is this correct? It's 8% over. If you budgeted that much, but you actually spent 10,000 more, that's about 8%. Yeah. Is this correct? You budgeted 150, you spent 155. Is that like 3.4% over? Yeah. Okay. So, what do we call this one? Total overall. Isla's using speech to text into Roblox because she's still learning how to read. She's only 6. Okay, let's do post minus pre divided by pre. Would we want a decimal? Yeah. Okay. I think this is what I would graph. Do we want a line or a column? I'm going to go with columns, but it would still be small multiples. It would have to be small multiples, right? Because otherwise it's like just the worst spaghetti line in the world. Um, so this is a just the doctor's office calling to confirm an appointment. I had to pick that up. Okay. Where were we? Here is the default. Yuck. Taking notes for future Anne. Okay, and now let's try small multiples, which should be easier to read. What is the most that we need? Minus 12 to positive 8. So what it's given. Okay, let's format this one a little bit. I'm gonna lock that in. Okay. Let's just do one category of spending at a time. Let's reduce the gap width, maybe like 10. Maybe put that up there. Everything is report sized font. Everything's going to be dark enough. Oh, I hate that that goes through. Oh, that's so annoying. Is that total or is that overall? I think it's overall. I think that's the right word. Oh, I hate that those are in the way. I don't want decimals here. Isla, I'm glad you're here. Otherwise, I would have like given up on this already. Um, I would have worked on something I really wanted to work on instead of what I need to work on. Maybe can I make Excel automatically color code it based on if it's over or under? I want to add labels. Does that get too busy? Um, how do I make that not X'd through. Do I want to show exact numbers or do I want to show the increments here? Hmm. Mhm. That's enough, right? Mhm. Hmm. Not loving how hard this is to read. This is terrible. What am I going to do about this? Um, if we keep this design, need to make sure the year labels aren't so terrible to read. Okay, so this is like a possibility. Should I make one more category just so we can see what this would look like for everything? How many pretend categories did I make up? 7? I have several real life projects that are similar to this, but not identical. So the number of categories absolutely, you know, absolutely affects this. Mhm. Ugh, this is so gross. Okay. Mhm. I want to be able to spot all these options. What else did we try? We tried this and overlapping columns. That seems promising, does it not? You can slice. Do I want to make something sliceable or not? Um, I have a real life person in mind. I'm trying to think about their preferences. Would they want to open up Excel and slice and dice and explore? Yes. But then their boss that they're sharing it with would not. Their boss that they're sharing it with would want a really good PDF. Maybe just that simple. Maybe I should make something interactive. Hmm. What else have I tried so far? Overlapping columns. That is just overall. It looks like I tried overlapping columns over time. Where's my slicer? Did I not make a slicer here? It's this one. It's just in the wrong spot. I kind of want to make a dashboard for this one client I'm thinking of. I think she would really, really want the details like this. Category, year, actual budget. It looks like I already made a long data set. Okay, that's good. And then she could also add the grantee. Let's play with this one. Hmm. Okay. What if this one is the static one that is like the overall, and that goes on the front page here, and then this is like the appendix on the second page. Mhm. Yes. What's your theme? You want me to read it to you? No? Okay. Actually, let's save the let's actually save this one. Um, because I want to be able to show it to some other people and see what they think. Okay, let's try this again. Keep all your versions. It's always important. Let's look at the normal view. Okay, so this is going to be handout version 2. That's handout idea number 1. Okay, on number 2, all this is going to go on the second page, and we're going to lead with the overall stuff. Sorry, your chair was hitting my elbow. I'll move over. The red is too Debbie Downer. I'm gonna get rid of the red and just turn this into brand color one. Makes me a lot happier. And then should we graph the dollar difference or the percent difference here? I think dollar difference. I would love for this to just to say 1M, 2M, 3M, 4M. There's some way to do that. I'd have to Google it with the label, no, with the number, setting up one of these things, I think. And I unlink it to the source and then do like, what? It's not that simple. That was yucky. I think I had a formula in here. Is it the left of the, I don't know. Problem for another day. Okay, so if this was the page one, wouldn't we need to have overall? Overall. Where would we put like overall slash total? Maybe just little call outs across the top. I mean, those would be fine, wouldn't they? Wouldn't they be? Mhm. Is this a title? Yeah. This page would be a overall. And this page two is like details by category and by year, something like that. So that is a heading one. Two details like that. Maybe that's all in brand blue. That is now demoted to a heading two. Is this redundant with what's on the first page? No, because it's percents. If you're here live, say hi in the chat. I can always see that people are here, but I can't see who. I'm here with Isla working on budget versus actuals, as you can see. And I'm trying to create, I think these are my goals. This is a PDF for the higher ups. And this is dynamic charts for the mid-level people. There would be a little description here. How are we doing with printing? Set the print area. Do we want to do portrait or landscape? A lot of things for this one project I have in mind are done in landscape. So let's see what landscape would look like here. This would not all fit on one page. That's okay. Is that okay? Hmm. No, that's not okay. In real life, these categories are going to be a little bit longer than that. Maybe that wide. That fits neatly on page 2. Can I add more blank rows so it's not so smushy? I hope so. Can I add one more here? Yes. Okay. Is that a heading one? It looks so small, doesn't it? Only size 12. I feel like heading one should be a little bit bigger than that, like at least a 14. All right. Okay. This is, yeah, that's a heading one, but in brand one. What are you thinking so far? Yeah. How's your game going? Okay, let's build like a little call out section right here, which would maybe have 3 sets of stats. What would this be? Like budgeted, actual, budgeted spending, actual spending, the difference. I'll worry about the equal spacing of these later. Okay, budgeted spacing, budgeted spending. Overall is this. Actual spending overall is this. And the difference is this. What if we make these heading ones? What if we make this one go over? So we can merge these and it can have more space. Merge, merge, merge. That spacing looks awful. Usually I make these 12 across, which I might just need to do. Famous YouTuber. I want to show the percent difference as well. I just don't know where, if it should be in the words or if it should be like its own headline. Mhm. Will anybody be exactly the same? No. If it's greater than 0, call it an increase. Otherwise, call it a decrease, not increase, decrease. It's over or under. Over. Otherwise, it's under. That percent and that. Maybe in parentheses. I think so. I think that's enough. Pretend. Let me like change this. Do we even need the word spending here? Or is that so obvious to the people looking at this? We don't. It kind of was nice to look like unlopsided there, isn't it? Okay. I think that's good for like a high level part one overall. Technically, this is overall. The rest, technically now this is part two. Part two by category. Yeah, two by category. Do we need to say part? No, because that is way too wordy. One overall, two by category. So is this going to be brand two now? Yeah, this will be brand two. I've changed these colors 5 times at this point. That's okay. That's just part of the real life process. And then this is part three. And what are we calling this one? Not just details. This is like, um, and this is green again. Again, I've changed the color on this 5 times. Details. This is like by additional information, by category and by years. Should these be spark lines or spark columns? No, let's do lines. Green or brand three. Okay, this is coming together. This is why you have to work on these things in multiple sessions. Because when I looked at this 10 days ago, I was like just getting the initial thoughts on paper. And now I get to refine the thoughts, which is like obviously the best case scenario, right? You know what I should show here? I should show like overall. Total. Is this overall or total? I don't know what to call these. I think this is total. I mean, because it's a sum, right? Stay where you are, Sparkline. Okay. That throws off the proportions of everything, doesn't it? Let me not graph that one. Should I bold this because it's the total? Then it doesn't fit. Oh my gosh, it just fits. Oh my gosh. Perfect. Okay. Total budget. Everything should add up too, right? What are we over? Zero point 0.8, right? Yeah, that's correct. What's this looking like? I think this is a decent little front and back. You'd have one of these per grantee, per final report. You'd have a logo. You'd have like, this would say something like, this handout shows the budgeted and actual amounts for the 5-year project. It would just be that simple. Overall, I don't even know if you need words there. Category, these need to be bigger, don't they? Or maybe not. Um, there's too much white space right here. Maybe it needs a sentence right here. How is page 2 looking? More details? That's going to satisfy the detail-oriented people, I think. I That's a pretty decent two-pager. Yeah, Isla, look what I made. Budgeted actual difference. You want to do long dresses? She's playing Dress to Impress, and I'm reading the themes to her. Old Hollywood glam? Yeah. Okay. Let's do like 2 more minutes of finalizing this and move on to the next topic. Okay. You'd have some lorem ipsum here. And what else would we have? This would be spaced like that. These stupid icons keep resizing themselves. Stay the size that you are. Stay the size that you are. I'm not sure if these are the right budgets, excuse me, the right icons, because it's not necessarily a good thing to be under budget or over. You know what? Instead of check and X, why don't I just do plus and minus? Less interpretive, more fact-based. Let's do that. Again, that's the beauty of looking at this again 10 days later is like the first work session, you're like, I know I'm going to have some icons. And then the second work session, you're like, what are the right icons? Let's do plus and minus. Where's my minus? Oh, right there. Let's make these little so they don't get too much attention. Should they be blue or is that competing with this one for attention? Maybe they should just be gray. Maybe they should just be gray. Oops, that is the font color. I don't want that. I want maybe they're gray. Otherwise, this is just like too, too blue, isn't it? There's just too much blue. This is making more sense, I think. Okay, this is a very decent one pager for an internal technical audience. Is it not? One pager, two pager, nice and PDFable. What am I missing here? That's fine. This is fine. That's fine. Are these words the right size? That's a heading 1. These are heading 2s. Isla, a year from now, when you can read, like read all the words, not just read like some of the words, you're gonna be able to make these with me. Do you want to make these with me in a year? Yeah, at the end of first grade? Okay. Then you can come to conferences with me. Okay. Good talk. Okay. I'm satisfied with that. That is enough that I can leave it sit. That's all I'm going to solve for this work session. For this one, for like a one-page handout, two-page handout. So let's do dynamic charts for mid-level people. And let's see, I can delete this because this ended up being, I think, promising enough that it went on the first page. Um, what do I want to make for? I think I want to make something dynamic. I'm thinking of the person that I'm working with. Okay. I think I'm just going to like scrap all this and just start from scratch. I need to freshly think with my brain. Dynamic for mid-level people. This is old, very old. This is going to get hidden in a moment. I already have my long data set. Go away. If we kept a nice long data set, we would have grantee name or technically project name. It would be a project name. And we make up some pretend project names. Oh, then I have to make up more fake numbers. Oh, I hate making up fake numbers. It takes so long. Would every project, we would do grantee too. I'm basically recreating spreadsheets that they already have at this point. This is silly. No, but no, that's not silly. That's perfect because then this template I can like almost almost exactly plug in to use for a real project. Okay. So they do have grantee name. They have a wide data set, don't they? Do they have long? We could do a little switcheroo somehow. Actual budget. I want these in different columns. Yeah. Okay. What should our pretend grantee names be? Grantee A. And this is Project A. Okay. These are all grantee A. Let's make up more fake data. Let's just make up a few so we can slice and dice this. Let's pretend grantee A also has Project B because that happens in many, many real life scenarios. One grantee gets funded to do different things. And what are these amounts going to be? Um, I don't know. Rand between, let's make it 1 million. Is that the right number of zeros? 1 million to 2 million. And let's pretend that their budget is that minus, I don't know. I hate making up fake data sets. It's so not fun. Data viz training problems, right? And we'll make some of these go over. I should probably rand between these to make them more like real. Where did my over go? Here it is. Okay, great. That is nice and fake. Let's do like one or two more. Let's pretend we also have grantee B. And grantee B runs a different project, but they still report on the same budget categories, like this thing they spend money on personnel, travel, equipment, blah, blah, blah. And they, let's say they still have a 5-year project. And let's pretend their project is big, like bigger, like 2 to 3 million. Is this enough fake data? Should I make up one more? Let's pretend that grantee C runs project D. And these are littler. So they would not vary as much. They'd be like within 1,000. Gosh, it's so much easier to do this with real data sets than it's, ugh. Okay, let's get rid of the RAND formulas. Okay, so if this is our teeny tiny little data set, we will call it the data set. And where is this going to feed into? This would be on that would be the data set. And this would feed into pivot tables. What are we feeding this into? What would the real life people need to see? Um, yeah, let's feed this into some pivot tables. Stay organized. Pivot tables. These are going to be the helper tables. Over here is going to be a dashboard for internal use. Let's have some default charts, ugly, ugly charts, and some beautiful formatted charts over here that are going to feed in right there. Okay, what would go into our first pivot table? Oh, oh, that's so small. Why is that so small? I don't know. I must have messed up something. Why is it so small? Too small. Okay, let's see if I can read that. Um, let's do. Would we want to show over a year? Yes, because this is for like the end of 5 year, end of reporting. And it has to go this way vertically. If we wanted to go this way horizontally on the graph, I always call it like a perpendicular somersault, where bar charts do a crisscross somersault. And what do we want to do by really slicing and dicing by? Grantee. Are we doing budget versus actual?